Imagine this. You are at the starting line of a race and you've got the best sneakers, billions in sponsorships, and the loudest cheer squad behind you. Suddenly, someone comes up to you and whispers, China is already halfway to the finish line. That's how NASA is feeling right now. NASA's Artemis program is supposed to return Americans back to the moon by 27 in the next 2 years, but with delays piling up, some experts say that China might get there first. At a recent Senate hearing, former NASA chief Jim Bridenstine warned that it was highly unlikely that the US would beat China back to the moon. And as you know, in Washington saying China might win in any race, let alone the new moon race, it's like yelling fire in a crowded theater. Everyone is bound to pay attention, and someone certainly did. Less than a day later, acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy actually fired back at a town hall by saying that, look, I'll be damned if that's the story we write. Now, NASA officials usually sound like they're reading off a science textbook, but Duffy sounded more like a Hollywood protagonist. That shows just how high the stakes are in today's new moon race. And I would say that the prize is more than bragging rights this time. The lunar South Pole is rich in water ice, which could become drinking water, breathable oxygen, and even rocket fuel. So it's essentially a celestial gas station, and I would say whoever gets there first and claims it can write the playbook for humanity's future in space exploration. But the challenge for the US is that the Artemis 3 depends on fragile timelines and unproven technology. The Space Launch System, for instance, is quite expensive and it's still finicky. The Orion capsule, it seems reliable, but again, it's quite expensive. And then SpaceX's Starship. But it still has to prove quite a few things. Orbital refueling for one, precision landings on the lunar surface, and most importantly, it still has to master the art of not blowing up in fireballs. Now that's great for live streams, but not so great for the astronauts that are going to be on board. And because of these factors, Duffy actually admitted that NASA has actually burned through critical time, and he stressed a sense of urgency. He argued that NASA's obsession with perfect safety might actually stall progress. So his message to NASA officials was, look, you have to accept calculated risk without defaulting to further delays. And after all, frontiers are never conquered risk-free, especially the final frontier. But there are still questions which loom over the finance. NASA's $25 billion budget might sound very impressive on paper. That is until you realize that each of the Artemis launches are going to cost billions. But Duffy insisted that, look, the funds are sufficient for now, and he will write Congress if more is needed. But, nothing gets Congress officials buzzing like how to create more jobs in their respective districts. Nonetheless, there are still quite a few challenges in the way. For instance, technical delays could actually stall progress and push Artemis well past 2027. Similarly, if there's a new government in place, the political shifts could actually stall the current momentum. And lastly, the cultural whiplash could also strain a safety-first workforce who is pushed to work faster. But I would say that if the US lands first, it would actually strengthen the Artemis Accords. But if China does, well, it's going to elevate Beijing's lunar ambitions. Either way, the new moon race is on, and as Duffy made it clear, neither China nor the US can afford to be the runner-up in this race.